Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and that guy that really hates Armada Hotshot. This is not a test. This is a random review.
Hello everyone, welcome back to the TJOmega channel and welcome back to the review stage. Today, I thought I would take a look at the oddball of the new Age of the Primes Deluxe wave, and that would be Venin, our deluxe Insecticon. I mean, literally, he is a deluxe size, and he was a deluxe Insecticon in G1. It's already getting a little bit confusing. But this is a unique because this is not a toy that they could really, repaint or remold into anybody, and it's a little bit confusing that of all characters, Venin would get a brand new mold, but as none of the standard Insecticons could be retooled and pass as the deluxe Insecticons, we actually just had to come up with something completely new, so this is what we are doing, apparently. Okay, so let us take a look and see how Venin turned out as this standalone Insecticon. So, he is a robotic cicada, looking pretty good as such. Orange and green being the colors of the day with these bright translucent red wings. Not translucence I'm worried about because it's not taking on any kind of pressure or weight. That is what we want out of translucent. Now, I'm going to go ahead and clean Venin up. So the axe blade doesn't really have anywhere good to go. Just kind of plugs into the side there. And then the gun does have a mounting point underneath, so you can get a good firing range on it. I actually really prefer when you can undersling a gun like this on a jet or a bug in this case, as opposed to the traditional Autobot method of I'm going to stick a rifle out of the top of my car mode. This looks like it makes a little bit more sense. So we're going to put the weapons aside for now, because the weapons are neat too, but we need those in robot mode to really work. Yeah, so here you go. Nice, clean looking robotic cicada. Looking pretty good. On top, you do get a little bit of off-white, kind of light gray color. As some of the paint apps, you can see a little bit of detail work there. Not a whole lot of paint coming through on this particular beast mode, but it just means a lot of that solid plastic is doing the lifting color-wise. You can see a lot of translucence for the red, and yes, those eyes look odd, but those are in the correct positions for the bug. I also like that if you have it at certain angles, Venin just looks super happy to be here. Okay, this is Venin being serious. Now Venin's happy. Look at that smile on Venin. He's just such a happy guy. He's just a little fella. Just a little fella. Okay. I feel like that alone is going to endear a lot of people to this toy. Now, function-wise, this is a beast, so we get a little bit more than standard function out of it, which is good. So there are little notches that will let you plug the wings into place right there, close. That way you can keep it and it's not going to go anywhere. But these are pretty good hinges, so they're going to hold pretty well. At least on mine they do. And yeah, universal joints to move those wings around. So you got plenty of rotation, you got plenty of hinge there. Yeah, you can do whatever you really want with the wings, which is cool to see. Yeah, so easy to put into flight. I do wish I could raise the wings up and hinge them here. That way the wings could be at an upward angle, but doesn't quite allow that, which is a little unfortunate. But hey, I still get most of the options. That still looks correct. And the fun part here, all of the bug legs underneath are ball jointed, so you do have a little bit of up and down in all of them, as well as full rotation, which does mean that these bug legs have the ability to actually balance and all land at the same time on the ground, and that actually allows Venin to stand up on the bug legs. You have to be a Beast Wars fan. And you had to be there for the original toy line to really understand why this is a big deal. Because frankly, it was rare when we had a bug whose ball joints could actually hold up their big, heavy robot bodies. So here, not an issue. Venin can hold up his own weight just fine. Now, if you want a little bit of playability, you got 5mm ports there on the sides, both sides. You have the one underneath that had the gun, and then 2 in the back if you can figure out what to do with them. Toward the back, we also see just a little bit more of that deco that's going to shine through a lot more once we get into robot mode, and I think it's about time we do that. So, okay, so we're going to get those wings up so we can get those out of the way. A lot of this is clipped together pretty well. So we're going to start with the arms. I need to swing them out, get them out from inside. That block is going to be plugged into there, so it takes a little bit of wiggling to get this out and get the whole process started. But once you do this, you can free up the legs, and then you really start getting the transformation going. So, like, yeah, you can see right there. Now that those arms are out of the way, now we can go on this side and separate these two panels. Excuse me, get your legs out of the way so I can open your legs. It's easier to come up from underneath and unhook them like that. So don't try to pull them apart because you might just pull that little mushroom peg right out. Okay, so there's a little bit of like funkiness going on in how the legs work. You see that extra little panel down there? So when you fold up, that panel is going to stick up. Make sure you fold that down. That fills out the shape of the leg a little bit, just to cover up a little bit of that leg gap. And then from there, you can fold up those panels. Those will make the heels, and then flip out those tiny little gray feet. From there, let's go up and work on the upper body of Venin a little bit. It is upper body day. So these arms are on double hinges, so you can extend them out as such, and then just flip out the wrists themselves. Now, the wrists are just little friction hinge pegs in here, and they don't, at least for me, they don't really tab in too well. It's not too secure, so be a little bit careful when you're flipping out the fists, or I guess dealing with them in general. I'm going to double hinge this side here, flip out that hand. You can see where that one really wants to come off the hinge. Don't allow it. You stay there. You have no choice. All right. You're going to unpeg the head from these two tabs, and then torsos are going to move out like so. Your goal here is to get these blocks that hold the shoulders to tab into that chest from the inside. So like, see that little block up here? That's what you got to do to get it locked into place. So I'm going to go back and do that again. You can see it wiggling around in there. And then there we go. Now you see it in the correct spot. Okay. Let's make sure that the body angle is correct. We want these parts to stick out so he has like a good midsection going. Go ahead and now, the question here is what to do with the wings. So we can move them all the way to the back, and that's pretty much your standard. They're going to be a little bit limited in where they can go because of the bug legs. So what you do is here in the back, go ahead and fold these legs downward. Just rotate them on the ball joint and then put them all the way flush to his backside. And that gives you enough range to put the middle legs like that. Now, unfortunately, the ball joints do not give me, well, hang on. There we go. Ball joints give me just enough range to get all of them stacked like that. It's a little bit of a bend to do it. So if you don't really want to do that, you can leave these two legs upward. But, if you don't mind like risking a little bit of bend, there you go. You can just go ahead and fold up all the legs like that. That's going to give you a little bit more room to actually put these wings to the back and give his arms just a little bit more freedom, because they're not going to have a lot no matter what you do. And then with that, double hinge the head into place, and that's going to be Venin in robot mode. So the transformation is actually pretty fun on the guy. Nothing terribly like complex or tricky, but he does come off pretty smooth. Everything works on him pretty well. Yeah, he just feels like a really good upgrade to the original. Let me adjust frame a little bit, because you need to get that stem on top of his head. Otherwise it just doesn't have the right silhouette. So yeah, in robot mode, we get a lot more of the gray color coming through, and now the deco is working in his favor. Again, he's very light on paint. There's really not a whole lot going on to him, but there's just enough to keep the colors broken up and make him look a little bit more interesting. You can see himself, like, he is going to carry some kibble. Like, there's no way to make this clean. A clean bug transformer is nigh impossible. So we're going to work with what we got. He's got these weird wings that are going to be under his armpits. There's nothing you can do about that. Taking a look at the head sculpt, this is actually a pretty cool looking head. I like all the vents going all the way around the top. Kind of reminds me of like a cobra's frill. That's kind of cool. Like that. And then, yeah, you just have this proboscis, I guess, stem just sticking out of his head like he's some kind of like weird, like some kind of weird pumpkin. And yeah, and now we have that mouth. It's now just looking like a visor with a mouth plate, and it's decidedly less happy to be here. Now, see, now if I do it, he looks a little mean, because now he's got like just glowing ears like Wheeljack or something. But yeah, beyond that, yeah, the deco works pretty well here. He does have a little bit of tampography to replicate his old stickers, which I thought was a fun little detail. And even tampography, that's sculpted in, nice. Okay. And then, yeah, you get a little bit of black spotting here on the legs. He does have, like, sculpted detail matching the original stickers. Just not a lot of paint on it. This is back in that era where, like, I really wish Takara still did their upgraded repaints on these guys. Okay, so let's take a look at what we can do articulation-wise. So this is going to get a little bit weird because, yeah, we have some things in the way. He does have neck left and right, and he also has plenty of up and down. Because the neck is double hinged, you can do a lot of weird things with the head. You want the bug head to just be there, like you just want him to be some kind of weird mosquito monster, because he can be. That can be your Venin if you wish it to be. Some weird, like, Beast Wars mutant head thing going on. But save for that, we'll put that head right back in location. Universal shoulders. Now, these actually hold pretty well, considering how the torso transforms, so I'm actually impressed by that. Full 360-degree biceps, you get 90-degree at the elbow, nothing at the wrist. And again, this wrist hinge, at least on mine, they are not very strong. Just be careful when you do anything with them. You still have all these, the swivel and the hinge, to get the wings to do what you want. So you can add and like switch up his look if you want him to be a little bit more like Beast Wars Jetstorm in shape. So I like the option if you want to have, if you just want to play around with it. This is again where I wish like I had just like one extra hinge or swivel so I could just like blade wing his shoulders, kind of like Kickback. But I guess we don't want to look too much like Kickback either, do we? Alright, so I'm going to put those right back where they went. You can tell they are going to interfere with the arm articulation no matter what you do. It does have full waist rotation, universal hips. Yep, we have those as well. Full range like that. 360 degrees on the thigh, knee. Fantastic knee bend because that's part of the transformation. And then he does have that ankle tilt with the tiny little feet there too. So good playability all around. Good level of articulation. I'm thrilled that something as obscure as Venin, a character who's never in the cartoon, barely in the comic books. I'm not even sure if Venin was in the comic books now that I think about it. It's just such a nothing character, and yet even this has gotten a lot of love. I do think that trying to stick to the G1 design very strictly, you know, and having those wings where they are, does make him a little bit cumbersome, and having some option of moving those to another location would have been pretty nice. Let me see, did Hasbro do one of their... No. If Hasbro done one of their, like, sneaky, this is actually a 5mm port, and I can unplug the wings, that'd actually be pretty good. We'd find a new home for them somewhere on the design, or we'd use them as swords, but no. It's just a bit of a design flaw, I feel. I think they could have done a little bit more to get the wings to cooperate better. Now, beyond that, we do have accessories that we did pull off, so we can add his gun and the axe blade to his assortment, and that's all well and good. Aside from his hands, you do still have access to the 5mm ports that are now at the top of his forearms. That's a little unusual. And then the side of his knees have the ones that used to be on his hindquarters. Now, depending on what you do with the legs of the beast mode, you may or may not have access to the one in the back, which could still store the weapon if you just wanted to use it for weapon storage. Since we have scuttled them out of the way, it is not within use, unfortunately. However, we are not quite done. So there's a little bit extra to point out, like the fact that it is using a 3mm port at the tip of the gun, so it can use blast effects if you want. But it also has a 5mm port in the back. Now, this could give you a few options as far as like combining weapons, but what we need to do is combine his weapons, because Venin actually has an axe. And like a full one, not this just little like hatchet blade that he was wielding before. So no, full axe weapon should you need your Insecticon to just be absolutely brutal on this Halloween season. So yeah, I like weapons with playability like that. I like weapons with alternate modes. Very, very nice. All right, and that, my friends, is pretty much going to be it. Can I get... You're a little bit back heavy because of your wings, Venin. But that's going to be Venin for you. He is definitely an oddball to release a brand new toy up, and I'm thrilled that the Insecticons are complete for the first time since G1. And yeah, he makes for a really fun, interesting figure himself. He does have a few flaws. One of it comes down to just accuracy to the G1 toy. Another one just comes down to a little bit cheap in the engineering. But beyond that, he does make a pretty significant figure. And yeah, definitely some variety if you're buying the entire wave. I get the feeling this is going to be one of those shelf warmers because I don't think kids are really going to care about who he is. I think collectors barely remember Venin, so that's another obstacle. But if you're curious, yeah, I do think he is worth picking up. So there you go. Yeah, let me know what you think of Venin in the comments below. And as always, I will see you next time.
Hello everyone, I am Astral Agent Magnetar, a Tokusatsu VTuber, and I am streaming 4 times a week over on Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday afternoons, and a special late night one on late Friday/early Saturday. So come watch, come hang out, and let's make an impact together.